all schools in the state have now submitted something to the Ohio Attorney General's office. So we've come a long, long way. We have a little ways to go, but we're getting there. And I'm not unhappy with where we are. We've made a lot of progress. We still have 189 schools who have not updated in the last 3 years. We have 58 schools that are missing floor plans or emergency plans. So you can see we've come a long, long way. And in our contact with these schools, I anticipate that they will become in compliance, relatively quickly. But the real challenge is not in those numbers. The real challenge is, I think, in having school plans that are quality plans, there be some consistency, mindful of the local needs, but there be some consistency from plan to plan. And the plans also have to be useful. And that's really what these recommendations are about. We have, one of the things that we're putting out today is this document to be used by schools. This is a model school safety emergency operations plan. And I won't go through it, but anyone's welcome to get a copy or pull a copy down online. And this is available to every school. And as you can see, it's quite elaborate. Again, each school has to make it work for them. But it just walks the school through how you put a plan together, how you make it work. And so if the school wants to see kind of what this working group thinks is the best practices, this is available to the school. One of the things that we talk about in here is that right up front in the plan, the first 6 pages, is everything law enforcement would need. So it will be right there in front, ready to pull down on OLEG. As you all recall, what we do with the plans is we put them up on OLEG, which is the gateway for law enforcement officers. So a law enforcement officer who is responding in from a different jurisdiction can at least pull this up. We're going to put it right up front so that this was a request from law enforcement to make it easier, and that's something that we're talking about doing in here. Each school must customize it and adapt it for its own needs. The floor plan is usable for law enforcement, and in here we have a model floor plan. You'll see over here, this is a model floor plan, and it's contained in that document. We've just blown it up for purposes here today. What we found is that, and again, schools have not had really guidance. What we found was that initially when we looked at these floor plans, some of them were just not usable at all. You couldn't read them, you couldn't copy them, you couldn't hardly get them into our system. And there was not a consistency about identifications. There was not any kind of key or anything like that. So this is, if schools will follow this, it gives them an opportunity to do something that law enforcement approves, thinks is useful, thinks is very, very helpful. One other change that we are making in cooperation with the Ohio Department of Education, and this is almost in place, not quite, but almost, is schools will now be able to upload their plan online directly. And that's going to go in. It's going to make it a lot easier for schools to do. And that awaits action with the Ohio Department of Education, but we're about there, and that will be put together, and schools will be able to do that much easier than they've done in the past. Something else that we have done in our office as far as training. We have made available to schools with the understanding really that the first responders are teachers, the first responders in a crisis are going to be principal, the custodian, anybody in that school, an authority is going to be the first responder. And so we put together a training class, and we've trained now thousands of teachers. We're going to continue to do that, make that available with live classes where we have an instructor. The instruction does not have to do with how you use a gun. That somebody else can do that. What we're trying to do is do 2 things. One is how you identify if there is a student who has a problem, and what are the things to look for. Second part is, if there is an active shooter in the school, what do you do? What are the best practices? About a 3.5-hour course. We've also I've sent a copy of this to each school in the state. We have more available. If anybody wants one, we can get them out, and we've sent them out at no cost. And of course, the training is at no cost either. We have an introduction to this plan, PowerPoint, audio, video, which is now online. People can pull down, and it lasts, Pam, what, about 8 minutes. 10 minutes? 8 minutes. So people, anybody here can pull that down. Anybody in the state can pull it down, and schools can look at it. It kind of just walks them through how you get into this, putting this together.